Hello and welcome back to the Finish Line and our special Irish Champions Weekend review. So, I try that again. So, as always, I'm joined by Dave, and we are joined by Dan this week, one of the Finish Line followers. Dan, welcome to the Madhouse.
What's going on, Dan?
It's going to be good. Going to be good.
Confidence already, I like it. Right, so it was a cracking weekend of action from Leopardstown to Curragh and the St. Leger at Doncaster. So we're going to go through some of the big races that happened over the weekend and try give our analysis of what we thought happened through all the big points. So we'll head to Doncaster and we'll start with Galileo Chrome. So this is my nap of the weekend, and he duly obliged and done it very battle-hardened, and I thought it was a mighty impressive performance. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, he done it well. He's the strongest there, and I suppose a lot of people wouldn't have thought Berkshire Rocco had much of a chance, but we went through it last week on the Wednesday, and there was some good horses in it, but we discussed that it'll come down to the two or three best stayers, and that's basically what happened. Pile Driver travelled well, and he kind of hit the front, and then veered off left a little bit as the old stamina went out. Hookham definitely didn't stay. He was travelling well and just dropped away.
It's kind of harsh. You don't need to look at races.
Yeah, well, we knew that last week. And Galileo Chrome looked like he wants further, to be honest. He was in a good battle with Berkshire Rocco and then pulled the neck ahead going to the line. So I'd say he'll be a cup horse next year for Joseph. Joseph might be Ascot Gold Cup type of horse.
So Dan, about 2 furlongs out, there was about 5 and 9 at the 2 furlong pole. From there, who did you think was going to win at that stage?
Either Santiago or Berkshire Rocco, because as you saw, Frankie on Santiago literally blocked in Galileo Chrome, and you thought, oh, he's done for. But then Tom Marquand, I thought, was an absolutely brilliant ride. And for him to find the gap in the middle and then go straight through, and then coming to the furlong, you thought Berkshire Rocco's going to find just that bit more. But as Dave said, the strongest stayer always wins the St. Leger boat race. And definitely he wanted it a bit more and got through. I think we had a conversation in the chat about Pile Driver, and some people said he stayed and some said he didn't. But I think definitely he'd had a night out beforehand over the top, because he was pulling to start with, and then he decided to go up the outside rail compared to everybody else. He was zigzagging, he was doing all this. But at the end of the day, I think the best horse won and the best stayer won.
Yeah, I agree. I'm Pile Driver. We touch on that now. There's been a lot of excuses saying, oh, he stayed, but he was running on again. He didn't get cover. He was all over the place. But if you go back to the 2 furlong pole, there were 6 or 7 horses spread wide across the track. None of them had cover either. They all had the same kind of attack at the finish that he had. Yes, he probably pulled, but that's his own problem for pulling. He veers to the left. He does that. He done it in York. He done it at York when he won his last race. Veered to left again. I say it was in Martin Dwyer's mind to keep him at that side of the track, because he knew he was going to go that way. And when a horse is going that speed, you don't have any control. You have minimum control of trying to keep him straight at the finish, because it's when your reins are at your loosest and you're just trying to get the best out of him to go forward. And he doesn't like going forward. He likes going to the left. I don't think he stayed. I didn't think he would stay. But people are putting in sections saying he did stay. He ran on again. Yeah, he might have ran on again, but if he stayed, he's the best horse in the race on ratings and all that. And if he did stay, he would have won. But to me, the best horse that they won, the best stayer won. And I was shocked that Berkshire Rocco was next to him.
Look, regards staying, look, he's not going to stop to a walk and just walk over the line. Like he's a horse, he's an animal. He'll keep running, but like he didn't stay. He should have gone to the Arc. I'd say he probably wouldn't have been good enough to win that. But I was talking to Andrew earlier. That dog race that turned out today in France, the Grand Prix de Paris. I would reckon he would have won that today. They'd have a Group 1 on the board. And look forward to next year. I said during the week I like Pile Driver, but it was the wrong race for him. that extra 2 furlongs means a lot.
I completely agree with what Dave said about Berkshire Rocco next year. I think he'll be even a better 4-year-old. But Galileo Chrome, she's related to a 1 mile 3 furlong listed winner, so stamina was assured anyway. So you'd have just kept going. She'd probably have made 3 miles, even possibly the national chase.
That's exactly what Japan needs now.
Yeah.
We get to him now in a minute. We touch on Santiago as well. What I kind of have him down to what he is now. He threatens to come and win his race. He flattens out a lot. I said in the video last week, he comes there, with a challenge, he flattens. The same done the Irish Derby. He won, but he was flattening out at the end. He nearly got caught.
I don't know whether he's kind of you see tripless horses over jumps. I don't know whether he's kind of a tripless horse over the flat. He looks like he's a stayer, but
he doesn't really see it out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really have the speed. It was like, even though Tiger Mott did come out and bolt up, who was second to him in the Derby yesterday at Leopardstown, it still look, I don't know what to make out of him.
I think Tiger Mott is the best horse to take out the Irish Derby.
Yeah. Sorry, we'll move on to that. We'll move on. I'm not even going to say it in here. Dave, your princess won. A queen, should I say, won. Take it away.
Nobody can ever doubt this horse ever again. You can say what you want about how Ghaiyyath ran, blah, blah, blah. Just never doubt. Andrew Blair Witch slates this horse every time he does a podcast and she's running the weekend. And I actually like Andrew Blair White's podcast, but he slates Magical. He's a hard-on for Japan. Japan is gone at the game. His brother is better than him now, and his brother is a dog as well.
That's true. I can't believe Mogul won a race again.
I said it in the group. I was talking to Kubo yesterday. There's.
Hey, look, talk to him now.
Under
Moose.
I have a good record on the flat at tipping up winners, and I backed Magical yesterday. I said in the podcast as well I was going to go for it. I wasn't going to go for anything else at this stage. But I said to Andrew, and I was explaining to Kubo, the feeling you get over the jumps horses, because they come back year in, year out, and when you follow them and they win a big race, and that elation that you get as like a fan of the horse, that's what I felt yesterday watching Magical. I literally had tears in my eyes. The 2 furlong pole, when the camera turned to the side and I could see she was like a nose ahead of him, and I was like, she's actually going to win. She's finally going to win a Group 1 against like a superstar horse. And then I just screamed. I lost my voice and everything for about 2 hours. Couldn't get my heart rate down, but it was great.
He came up here after and he couldn't talk. It was great. Didn't have to listen.
It's the best I've ever felt watching a flat race. I never got that elation watching a flat race before. It's the closest thing I've come to from when Denman won his second Hennessy. That's the only way I can describe it.
So good then, yeah?
Oh, unbelievable.
Right, get into the tactics of it. They finally done what we're all saying that they should have. The one way to get him beat, put a horse up in his skirts. But saying that, I think only a horse with the ability of Magical would have been able to do that, because they put a speed horse on it, he would have spat him out turning in. If he put Magical was the only one able to go at a pace for a relentless time with him. So I think she broke his heart and just kept going and going and going. It was perfect way to do it, and unbelievable ride from Jamie Heffernan. I'm too Ollie, please. Yeah, you can have blueberries. Okay. Jeez. Oh, lads, don't have kids when you're trying to do a podcast live. Dave, comment. My husband Andy had a profitable weekend. Thanks you. Asher, look, we try to throw out a few winners every now and then. Weekends like this, they happen a lot. Let's be honest, we are good at this. But yeah, that was a message from our emails that we sent out. So 7 Dave put out two tips each. We had one winner each, and the other show ran well. So, cool, but you leave my son alone.
Your man, Dumb Irish, has about 4 accounts, and I'm just laughing at the comments here the whole way down. He spends his whole week watching these videos, just he's slating Andrew Blair Witch as well and everything in it. Just like, what is going on with this man? And he still didn't accept the boxing match.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that. Like, I get a venue in the morning. Just say yes, and we'll give you plenty of notice. It can be the second this coronavirus thing is over, where you can all start traveling again. We'll make it happen.
Let's say, I know you love dumb Irish Wayne Lineker, as I call you, but Mr. Stuart McDonald in our chat, formerly known as Cubo, give him a shout out. He's backed Backerson, yes, Backerson, any race at Cheltenham next year. And
Cubo, have a word with yourself.
Backerson.
I have no words for that.
We're going to have to do a video.
I'm
You
just
know what's
for
up
that.
with anti-post bets that have been put up in the group? It's just insanity. Majority of them are Cubos as well.
Like, as I touched on this a few weeks ago, we're going to have a video where all the viewers and whoever can send in a video of their tip, explain why they're tipping them up. They're each way bet for Cheltenham. Explain again. I'll put them all together, and then you can all die in your sword. Dan, we didn't ask you what you thought of this. Now, how do you think this went? Do you think she stepped up on everything she's ever done to beat Ghaiyyath?
I think this is the perfect reason of why you know that he kept her in training. If they run again at the Champions Day, I do think that Ghaiyyath will reverse the form. That is just my opinion. But they didn't just have one horse pestering Ghaiyyath all the way through. It was Magical and Japan, all the way through. And if you've watched Ghaiyyath's races beforehand, he's gone off and then he's had someone just towards the side of him, and then William Buke's been able to give him a breather, and then he's been able to go again 2 furlongs out. Magical and Japan all the way through were just on him all the time, and he couldn't have a rest at all. And I think it was a fast pace, and I think Magical has better stamina than Ghaiyyath anyway, and I do think that came into it at some point. But obviously, yet again, we've got people on the chat that are going, "Oh, Ghaiyyath, there was something wrong with him. There's something, all this." But there's one stat that does back it up, and I've got it written down here, that his sectionals were from 2 furlongs to 1 furlong out. He was slower than all of them apart from Leo de Fury. And then the final furlong, where normally he's the strongest, the top 4 other than Japan and Leo de Fury were quicker than him. And that's as you're saying, this is where he's the strongest, and he's bullied him. But it's whether he was right or not, the best horse won on the day. And the last point I've got is Japan is an absolute moose. Like, he is an absolute moose. I'd say we've obviously James Cotter in our chat, and he's Mr. Aidan O'Brien, but I can't have Japan at all. There's how many excuses have you got for him? He's useless.
He needs to go over to Joseph now and start throwing him over a hurdle. Albert Bartlett, 2021.
It needs further than.
I understand he needs his first run. He did last year, and maybe even a second.
He was 16.
When he ran at Ascot, and in the parade ring, he was massive in the parade ring. I was like, right, he's not going to win today. We'll give him the next chance in the Curragh Eclipse. He had his chance there. I was out after his race in the Curragh Eclipse. How anybody could back him, no matter what excuse you are given, like he had a stone bruise and all that after his run at Ascot, it was abysmal. There's no way you should be wasting money on that yoke anymore.
And even
Andrew said it in November. He'll be in Joseph's stable in JP McManus's colours, getting ready to jump hurdles because there's nothing else for him now. There's no point sending him to stud because his stud value is gone now completely. Like, so
he's like they're still coming out with excuses where none of them are valid unless he's absolutely burning up the gallops at home. Second he gets into that horse box, he just goes, right, I'm not in for this. He hasn't shown anything all year. There's excuse after excuse after excuse. Like 2 furlongs out, he looked like he was coming there to put up a big challenge. He just bottled it. He bottled out again, and
it's exactly what he did in the Curragh Eclipse as well. He came there and just went backwards.
Yeah. Right, to round up on this, Magical is a legend.
Yep.
Dave would marry her in the morning.
Yep.
And have her babies.
My favorite flat horse.
Right, on to the next. We had two 2 good 2-year-olds. Try that again. 2 good 2-year-olds. One winning at Doncaster and one winning at Leopardstown. Shinde for Richard Hannon and Cadillac for Jessica Harrington. 2 very good performances over the weekend. Looking forward to their 3-year-old career. I know it's hard to predict what they're going to be like, but Dan, who do you think is going to be the best out of the 2 of them?
Well, I'll take the British side, as I always do. Cadillac, I'm not particularly... It doesn't excite me at all. The form doesn't excite me. She beat Van Gogh yesterday. He needs a mile and 4. He's a Derby horse. Chindit, last time at Ascot, he had 2 listed winners behind him in Cobe, or however you pronounce it, in St. Lawrence. Also, Naval Crown was 3rd, who was favourite then for a Group 3 at Longchamp. Odds on favourite, I think he was, and he came 3rd, he bottomed out. Something was not right with him. But I think Shinde, he always just stays behind, and then the last furlong, he just gives a little bit of a flick and he just goes. The last furlong is always his strongest, and every single time when you read the racing post, it's always inside the final furlong, kept on well. And it does remind me of last year a bit of Pinatubo, that he was just going, and then as soon as he gave the flick, he just extended away. And he's so far better than everything else in England at the moment. I think obviously he's been running over 7 furlongs, stepping up to a mile next year. He'll win the Guineas personally. I'll make a big shout now, and you can all call me out for it. I think he'll win the Guineas, followed by the Juddmonte. I think he's that good. I really do. And he's damn, he's a close relative to Derby winner Motivator. So stamina's in the pedigree as well.
I think you have one agreeer here. Dave, you're not.
I said to Andrew yesterday, we were talking about the races after, I really liked him. I said it earlier in the week. I actually told some of the lads on Tuesday before we did the podcast that if he ran to back him. But Hannon has another good horse, Tony, and I reckon that Shinde is a good bit better than him. So he's a good form line of the English horses. I don't know what to make of Jesse's horses, because they'll run well one day and then the next day you expect them to win and they won't win. They bomb out. I can't make head or tails of her horses all season. She's winning races, then she'll have a week or 2 where she wins nothing, and then she'll win a load of races, and then she'll win nothing. It's not like they've ever been informed. They're just in and out all the time. But I agree with Dan. Andrew said to me, is this thing going to win yesterday? Are we backing it or what? And I didn't say it's not. I said it is going to win, definitely. And essentially the way you described it, Dan, I texted Andrew and said he'll outspeed him in the last half furlong, and that's exactly what happened. He travelled lovely behind the bridle, push came to shove, one smack of the whip, had Dobbs put down the whip and just shook him over the line. Easy. It was very impressive. What
impressed me was, I think it was furlong and a half out, is the move he made to win the race. He bolted up he found another gear like a sprinter that I never seen anything pick up like that as a 2-year-old. He hit the front, but he kept going. Anytime a horse got closer and closer to him, he kept pulling out that extra bit more. I think second he steps up to him, I agree with the 2 of you. I think as of now, he's my idea of the Guineas winner next year. I was very impressed of what I've seen.
He'd be my pick for the Guineas as well. I really like Battleground, but I think Shinde would have that little bit more speed towards the last half furlong.
Don't get me wrong, Cadillac was very impressive as well. It's the same thing as Dan said. He beat Van Gogh, who I also think needs a trip and is a possible outsider for the Derby next year. I'd like to see him again in another good race before the end of the season. What there is now, I don't know off the top of my head. But as of now, Shinde is the one that really excites me for next year. And there's not many horses that do in the flat.
Hannon's got 2 good ones. Etonian's good too.
I don't think Cadillac would stay them all.
No, it looks pacey. But saying that, 7 furlongs around Leopardstown, takes some getting.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Right. We move on. Glass slippers. Jordan, like that. Jordan,
like that. I saw that. No, I was waiting for that.
Glass slippers. Very tough performance day in the Flying 5 over, obviously, 5 furlongs. And Dave put it up as his tip for this race on the podcast. So Dave, you take it away.
She she came into form around the same time last year. She won, I think, a grade 3 at York or somewhere, and then went on to win the Abbey. And the way it's fallen as well, she didn't run well at Ascot, but early in the season is not her time. She ran better against Batash when Batash broke the track record at Goodwood. And I said that in the podcast. I thought that was the best singular piece of form in the race. And she won it well. They went bonkers up front. She basically outstayed them towards the end, had the most speed at the end. And Make a Challenge did exactly what Make a Challenge does. Myself, Tom, and you, Andrew, were discussing the way the British sprints are run. And, like, we love taking on the British Cheltenham and Ascot and blah, blah, but the British sprinters are way better than the Irish sprinters, especially over 5 furlongs. They go bonkers from the gate. The Irish sprinters don't. And that's why Make a Challenge wins. They kind of plod along for 2 furlongs and then sprint for 3. The British sprinters literally go hard from the gate, all out for 5 furlongs. And Make a Challenge is never going to win today.
Dan, what do you make of it?
Well, my picks were Kui and Mora and Ayali, and I still don't think that either one of them two has finished yet. Maybe about 10:30. So it just summed up about my weekend, to be fair. I think I had one winner out of all of them. But as Dave said, sprinting races is the only thing that us British people are actually half decent at. It's we always dominate the division. Obviously, they send horses over. Horses like Escobar and horses like that have won group races in Ireland, and Escobar is absolutely nowhere near in handicaps in this country. But Make a Challenge and Skeptical. God bless his little soul. Hammer the others in Ireland, whether it's a Group 2, Group 3, whatever. But then they come up against the British horses, and they're absolutely nowhere, which I knew was going to happen today anyway. Robbie in our chat thinks Frenetic would beat Batash.
Robbie, just stop.
He wouldn't get anywhere near. Frenetic wouldn't have even won today. And if Batash was with, but Glass Slippers the last twice was behind Batash. She just folded the last furlong, and because of the breakneck speed that Batash goes, it was a bit less of a speed test today. And once again, it just chilled at the back, and then came to the middle. Last furlong, just pulled away, and it's one of them. The British horses always seem to win, and it's her time of year. Obviously, she won the Prix de l'Abbé again last year, and it wouldn't surprise me if she won it again this year.
Yeah, big time, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say now she'd have a strong chance in that. That's where apparently she's going next. She's second favourite currently, about 4 or 5 to 1. Batash apparently not going.
The Prix de l'Abbé depends a lot on the draw as well, and if she kicks out from the gate, she'll take a world of beating. But it is like Tom said it. The Irish breeding tends to be a lot of middle distance horses, and I think then the 5 furlong and 6 furlong races are run a little bit slower in Ireland, and it definitely catches out the best Irish sprinters when they go to England, or when there's big sprints here in Ireland and the English come over and go a breakneck pace from the start.
Yeah, we haven't had a decent one since Soul Power.
No.
Soul Power is the best we ever had.
To be fair to Aidan, he'll get 1 or 2 that'll win a grade 1 in England, but they never consistently do it for a whole season. So
just a little. I've been reading the chat. Just a little message for Robbie. Cadillac's 3 runs have been over 7 furlongs. She hasn't won over a mile.
We like that now. We like that putting people in their place.
I like this now. Lots of research.
Well done, Dan. Good man. Right. Finally, we'll touch on Search for a Song, back-to-back Irish St. Ledgers. I got so sick over this horse all season. And the one time I don't back that bitch, she wins. Now, it was a very strong field. It had the Ebor winner in Fajera Prince. Had load in a certain, I'm going through it now, but she done it very well. She looked turned in. She was going to get there the whole time. Good training performance from Dermot Well, because she looked out of sorts all season. Dan, did you see it and what did you make of it?
I saw it, but I was also walking the dog at the time because I absolutely hate this race. It is, it's how this is a grade 1.
That's scandalous.
It's literally like having. It's literally.
Hold up.
Connection issue.
You look at it today, and Am I still there?
Yeah.
Start again. Yeah, you're still there. Go again.
Start again there.
Search for a song. Okay, yes, she won it last year. But other than that, absolutely nothing. Fajera Prince, yeah, he won the E-Ball, but that's a handicap.
Yeah.
Then you've got Search for a Song, obviously. His only other win, other than this last year, was a listed race. Twilight Payment, or as he's better known as the Curragh Cup winner, because that's all he wins. He doesn't win grade. Barbados was fourth. Barbados was fourth in a grade 1. He's only won a maiden. And then Passion won a poor grade, group 3. She was 5th. And then Sovereign, I don't really need to say much more about that because that Irish Derby was an absolute joke. So my opinion on this race is if this is a group 1 this time next year, I will be very disappointed, and I hope that the Welsh Grand National will be grade 1 also. That's about it.
I mean,
I like it this time.
It is a very, very substandard grade 1,
It's
and is every year, and it's won by substandard horses. And be fair to it's a great training performance, and fair play to the horse, but I just don't know what to make of it. I can't understand why it's different in the English St. Leger that older horses are now running it. I don't know what the thinking of it is, to be honest.
It's because it was falling apart. There was no one entering it.
It's getting worse and worse every year. As much as I like Fujera Prince, he won an E-Bar and he's been second there in a grade 1. Realistically, it's a grade 3. It's a high level grade 3. That's what it is.
Just also a little quick message to Wayne Harrison, who seems to keep commenting. If you want to privately message me, we can sort something out. If you want to keep going on about it, keep chatting rubbish all the time, let me know.
That's all he ever does, Dan, boy.
Dan, don't mind him. Don't mind him. What's this hobby? You just go through a few comments before we get going. Yeah, sure, why not? The hell with it. Dan, who wins the RSA?
Well, as it pointed out, I've got about 425 bets going on. I've backed Emma Tom, Easy Work, Monkfish, latest exhibition, but latest exhibition wins the RSA.
As of now, Monkfish wins it. That could be latest exhibition next week.
You mentioned the winner, the Pretemps as well there, Easy Work. He's definitely staying over hurdles and will win that race.
So we'll finish up in a minute. We'll have a little Zoe chat. It's been confirmed today she's going to the Prix de Cadran Arc Weekend. So 8-1 as of now. By the time all of us in the chat back her, she's going to be 15-8 with all the money we put on her.
I'm nearly sure this race is. I was watching Chicago there. And if you watch the NFL, Mitchell Trubisky is the worst quarterback in the NFL. There I said it. But anyway, I'm nearly sure the Prix de Cadran is the last race, or like the race after the Arc. So we get to see the Arc, and then everybody in this group won't even give a shit about the Arc because we sat there for an hour because there's like an hour break between the races after the Arc and the next race, and we'll just be waiting for us all.
Is it on Sunday or Saturday?
And we are allowed to go to the pub now. The pubs are open in Ireland on 21st. We have a table booked.
We're going.
Even Tom is coming with us.
He won't come.
He never comes with us, and we're going to. It's all happening. We've our bets on already and everything.
Is it on the Sunday?
It's the Sunday. Yeah. The Cadran's on the Sunday. I'm nearly sure it's on after the Arc.
Fill airtime.
Has somebody requested the double? Someone must have done.
I don't know.
I think it's 66s now or something.
It's a good shout though.
I think I seen something like 66s. Dan, while I'm looking for this, 2 anti-post bets for Cheltenham. Anyone that comes on always gives out their 2 anti-post bets for Cheltenham. I put you on the spot. Go.
Pentland Hills for the Arkle.
He's dead.
Sorry, what?
Well, that's the one that I'd backed. I don't know. I would love to come in here.
We don't want losers. We don't want losers.
No, but the thing is, I would love to come in here and say, yes, I've done it when I'd had too much to drink or anything, but I'm pretty sure that I did it completely sober.
I love the honesty.
And I would never, ever forgive myself for it. But
I don't know what you were thinking was when you did that day.
I don't know. No idea.
Okay, it's on Saturday.
It's on Saturday.
So we'll be elated going in to watch Love on the Sunday. But go on, Dan. Hit us with two anti-post bets.
Who you think will win?
the boss is Oscar for the Kimure,
Good shout.
Okay.
and I like Birchdale for the Coral Cup.
Very good.
He's a head case. I like it.
Yeah, it's good shout.
Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Champers Elise for Johnny Mercer. Obviously, ITV were getting their cocks out over it, but he was rated 86 4 runs ago.
Yeah,
And-
some training performance.
Good story behind it as well. Sold twice, didn't go through twice, failed the fets because she couldn't trot it up properly. Goes on and wins a Group 1 around Leopardstown.
Just shows you it can be done. Johnny Martin had a good weekend as well. He won the last race there with Sonny Boy Liston as well. So he's a decent trainer. He's turned himself into a decent trainer.
That he is. Right, before we finish, as always, our new email is set up. So again, just go to betopin.com/betting tips and put in your email, and you get the email sent out every Friday, which started this week, which started off with good 2 winners out of 4, so wasn't too bad. So
To be fair, Batman was another. Oh yeah, Marathon.
Yeah,
podcast.
So that'll be sent out every Friday evening at 9 o'clock. So next week we are going back to pre-recorded ones because we're getting very, very busy and work and all that. So they'll be still happening. They'll be out Wednesday evenings. They'll record on Wednesday afternoon. So Wednesday we'll have our next podcast up, and the race is not great, but we will come up with some topics. If you have any questions you want to ask us, throw them into Twitter, Facebook, or any social medias. Mine, Dave, or Tom's, throw them into our inbox of any of them, and we'll get them up and we'll answer them all. So that's it for our review. Dan, thanks for coming on.
Just a quick one for all the listeners, because I love to win people money. 210 at Hexham on Tuesday, I think it is.
I like this.
A horse, Bearing Upson. Brian Hughes is already booked, so it's definitely running. It's running off handicap mark 91 over hurdles. It's placed off 98 and 96, and it's also won fresh first time out before. So if it's tuned up, I don't know what price it could be. It'll probably be 1 to 5 now, no more look, but I think it's a good bet.
Winner's a winner, Dan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to have a look at that. We get off here. Text that on to me, Dan, so I forget the name of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, click the subscribe button. Give us a look, and we will see you again on Wednesday.